So welcome back to DecoyNoise and another episode of Am I the Antagonist? And am I the antagonist for throwing out my girlfriend's jars? So in a peculiar episode of DecoyNoise, I'm just asking that you guys are still subscribing down below, joining the Decoy Corps. We're past 1,000 subscribers, so thank you for joining, but also don't feel left out if you haven't made that 1K sub club. Yeah, it's a hard thing to say, but you can still earn those Decoy Koi coins. See, for someone that can't speak too well, I'm making this as hard as possible, so maybe this is just therapy for me, but I mean, let's stop all my babbling. Let's just get to the Am I the Antagonist thread that is throwing away girlfriend's jars. So OP writes, throw away because I know she likes to read relationships boards sometimes. Okay, so I, a 42-year-old male, moved in with my lovely girlfriend, a 28-year-old female, a few months ago, before the craziness started, and we've been dating for a year before that. She's an excellent cook and really funny, so life with her has been great, but since the incident, she's been snappy at me and lost some of her perkiness and good humor. Okay. She always likes to mix fancy drinks in the big mason jars to drink around the house. Now mind you, I've actually been a bartender before. Her drinks are not fancy. They're not even in drinks. She usually just squeezes a lemon and puts some ice in her water, or she makes green tea and cools it in the fridge with some mint or whatever. Wait, he's 48 years old and he's typing, oh no, 42 years old and he's typing whatever, like WTV, but okay. And the jars usually come from some grocery store or the other. She saves jars from bulk peanut butter, bean jars, or whatever has a big glass jar she's going to end up saving to drink from it. Before moving in, I asked about the jars because I really thought it was strange. I mean, she owns normal glasses. Her justification was the jars are bigger and therefore she doesn't forget to drink water throughout the day. At the time, I kind of assumed it was some weight loss thing. She didn't want to actually tell me because she was embarrassed, as she's a little bit chubby, so I let it go. But now I moved in. The jars were annoying me more and more. She doesn't keep every one of them, but she has like 10 on her own shelf. And there is like such a stupid waste of space in our small kitchen. Besides, we have glasses. She doesn't have to drink from a jar. So this earlier week, I was tidying up the kitchen while she slept, and I just threw them out. I think the kitchen looks much better, and we have much more storage space for pots, and she can still prepare her fancy drinks in normal glasses. She was pissed. I never seen her so mad. Her main point was the jars never bothered anyone, and it's none of my business, but now I live here too, so I think it is. During the fight, and this is why I may be the antagonist, I mentioned that it's stupid to want special recipients to just drink flavored water. It's not like it's a cocktail, and she's only doing it to lose weight anyway. She went really quiet at that and walked away from me. I gave her time to get over it, but it's been a few days and she's still moping around. And I noticed she doesn't seem excited about her fancy drinks. That's making me feel kind of bad, but I still think I was in the right to throw out the jars, as they were just garbage. Reddit, should I bite the bullet and apologize? Am I the antagonist? So, in a very clear-cut version of Am I the Antagonist, I thought this was going to be more drama-filled, but I mean, I'm taking them to Decoy Court where I give my knee-jerk reactions, and I may be wrong, may be right, but this is my opinion, so let's go ahead and say this guy's the antagonist without even, like, I could just shut off the video right now. He's the antagonist, but let's kind of deep dive into this. So, there's a fair age gap, and it seems like he says he moved in with her, right? Okay, so she's usually in a good mood. She likes to make these fancy drinks. What does this have to do with him? Like, he's already judging her for, hey, they're not fancy. They're just like, you know, lemon water and tea that she cools or whatever. And it's like, hey, that's a big thing for anybody. Not even people that are trying to lose weight. Like, I'm in America. As Americans, we're all chronically dehydrated. So anything that can just make you drink more water, either whether you're drinking out of a large jug throughout the day, you're drinking through a straw, or whatever it may be, you like to cool it, you like to have a jar, you add a lemon, whatever. She's trying to be healthier and you're shaming her for it. And also trying to like allude that she's trying to lose weight. Like, it seems like maybe or maybe not she has a problem with the weight, but it seems like OP right here, since he's bringing it up on this thing, he obviously has a problem with it, but then he's also going to turn it around and throw it in her face. And just the idea that it's like, hey, these are a mess or whatever. She doesn't think it's a big deal. They already had a small communication about it, how she likes the jars, and then she waits until she falls asleep and then he throws it away anyway. What did you think she was going to do? You know, like she likes to use the jars. She likes the flavored water. Just because you're judgmental about it doesn't mean that once you throw it away, she's like, oh my God, thank you. You know what? You're right. You did something behind my back, but you're right. So I'm going to go ahead and be happy with it. Like, what the heck was he expecting this or whatever? And the idea that she gets mad at him for doing wrong things, and then he turns around and doubles down on it by saying, hey, look, it was dumb. You're just trying to use it to lose weight anyway. And it's like, so she's mad. I did something to make her mad. What could I do to make her more mad? And then he's going to go and vent online where he kind of knows that she lurks anyway because he's on the online forums and just says, hey, Why is she so mad? Do I need to apologize? I know I've done 2 things wrong, and she got mad at both of them progressively more. What could I do to make her more irritated at me? But I mean, like I said, drop your comments down below. Pause the video before we get to those top comments and those more fun, controversial comments. But like I said, you can earn yourself that decoy koi coin. The hardest thing to say in the world, but I mean, is it worth anything? Who knows? Maybe at some point in time. But let's go ahead and get to that top comment. Top comment is, you're the antagonist. 1, I get that you're a guy, but you're not her boss. You aren't her parent. You're the reason Reddit looks at men in their 40s dating women in their 20s and thinks, yep, that's cause no one your age would put up with your BS. True. 2, she had an extra 10 glasses. She wasn't cheating on you or having addiction problems or running up credit card debts she can't pay off. She was drinking out of a jar. If this is what sets you off, you have impossible standards and anger management issues beyond the scope of what people here can help you with. You might also consider a therapist. Also, see number 1 above. And before we read on to this, is this true, or it's just like, hey, look, if he's that upset about a jar where he needs to throw him out while she sleeps, what happens if, like, he, like, finds, I don't know, like, finds out she's been talking to, like, her ex-boyfriend on Facebook or something, or, like, actually has somebody over, or, like, whatever it is, like, jars, he's just throwing them away and get a little upset? What happens when something real happens, like, something bad actually happens? So, let's read on, though. 3, there was zero reason to bring up her weight during the argument about you throwing out her possessions without her permission, except to chip away at her self-esteem, which is a classic abuser sign. See number 1 above. 4, you're the antagonist for posting this knowing that she reads relationship stuff here, and referring again to her being chubby. Her weight has nothing to do with you throwing out her stuff, or whether she should seek permission for some idiot old enough to be her father before deciding what glass she's allowed to drink out of as an adult in her own home. Hurting her self-esteem, check. Public humiliating her, check. Being obsessively controlling, check. See number 1 above. And the one thing is, though, is as right as this person may be, I always find I don't like when someone lists off, hey, I got 4 reasons why you're wrong. Number 1, 3, and 4 are all the same thing. Like, you're piling on at this point in time. I understand this person's taking offense to this guy's actions, which a lot of us online may or may not be, but just the idea that, hey, don't pile it on. Like, hey, the reason I don't like you is because you talk too much. You like to talk a lot. You talk too much, and I just don't like to hear you talk. Like, that's not 4 reasons. That's 1 reason. So I'm getting way too worked up about this. But let's just read on right now. The reply to that is, yep, you're the antagonist. Also, you're lucky she let you move in. It'd be a shame if she kicked you out during this situation. And that's the idea. Could you imagine if this guy's homeless because I don't like seeing jars in the cupboard. 10 jars is why he's homeless or whatever. And the thing is, though, is like, that would be a situation where it's like, hey, why did he think he could get away with that? Like, how else is the dynamic of this relationship working where he didn't think that he was going to catch any flack for throwing out her property because he doesn't like the fact that they're not fancy enough for him? Like, the mixed drinks aren't that, oh, whatever. So let's see. The next top comment is an even angrier version of the first one, but let's go read on. So this guy says, man, you're the antagonist for so many effing reasons. You don't get to decide what brings her joy. 1, she has one effing thing that makes her happy, and that causes 0 harm to you or anyone. And here's the thing: is like, there's one thing that makes her happy. That's a stretch. She has no other joy than those 10 mason jars in her cupboard. No, there's a lot of things that make her happy, but this is okay. Sensationalist, I'm guessing. And then in the parentheses, he says, in fact, she is saving money and the environment by reusing jars. I do the same thing. I love having big glass jars with ice water. I don't use the regular household cups. It's just a preference. This guy's taking massive offense to this. But here we go. 2, you have no right to throw away something of hers without asking. And if you asked and she said no, you still have no right. And 3, you told her it wasn't important because she was only using them to lose weight without even knowing that. If you thought that was her intention, you now made it clear that you think that she needs to lose weight while at the same time not supporting her even if she was trying to lose weight. Good. That actually, you know what? Oftentimes, I don't think that things need all caps, but honestly, that was a really, really good point. That's a mic drop. That's a 5 decoy koi coin reaction if he was a decoy koi subscribe to this channel. But yeah, that's true. It's like, if she wasn't trying to lose weight and she was just enjoying her mason jars and having lots of water and feeling healthy throughout the day, that she's nice and hydrated, now she knows that, hey, he's thinking that she needs to lose weight. So that's super messed up. That's like, you know what? He's really shot himself in the foot in many more ways than one. But let's read on. You can call me dramatic, but this would cause me to leave without a doubt. You have no respect for your girlfriend, and I hope she finds someone who treats her better with more consideration. And you know what? This is all true. This is all this guy's got a good, and I like the idea that all 3 of these points were different points. It wasn't just like the other person, I don't like you, I don't like you, I don't like you, and also I don't like you. It's one, it made her happy. Didn't hurt you at all. She's doing good. 2, why are you throwing away stuff that you have that has nothing to do with you? You ask, you have no right. And 4, why do you think that she needs to lose weight? Like that's not your problem or whatever. So all 3 of those reasons are there. Again, Decoy Court. Also the comment section saying he's an antagonist. But let's read one reply over here. So they're quoting saying, "You're wrong and chubby, and your drinks aren't even that fancy. I used to be a bartender, you know." OP probably. That kind of goes along with that other thing where the guy said like, "Hey, look, at one point in time, I wanted to be a screenwriter, so I get to choose all the movies. The movies you choose that are like, you know, award-winning movies, no. You're wrong. I was a bartender." So, like I said, drop your comments down below. I'm trying to read everything I possibly can in the comment section because I like the YouTube comments way more than the other comments on the actual Reddit post. But also, we're going to read some controversial comments. But, you know, pause the video. Let me know what you're thinking down below because I'm giving out Decoy coins. I don't know what it's going to be worth yet. But let me know in the comment section also what you think the Decoy coins should be worth, if they're worth anything at all. And if there's going to be an exchange value, is it going to be like Dogecoin? But whatever. Let's read the controversial comments. So this guy says, "You're the antagonist in my opinion." They reply, "The aesthetic of mason jars as glass is a matter of opinion. I like them, others don't." Whatever, let's read on. So the biggest controversial reply is saying, "Unfortunately, I'm going to have to say you're the antagonist. Is it strange? Probably she gave you a reason on why she has them. You shouldn't have just thrown them out. You're going to have to bite the bullet and apologize." How'd this guy get negative 107 votes because he's right? Like, I mean, I don't see how he's wrong, but let's look at the reply. "If apologizing is biting the bullet, you're really not apologizing." And that's more a reflection on OP saying, "Hey, do I have to bite the bullet and apologize or whatever?" It's like, you know, swallow my pride and apologize. And sometimes in relationships, biting the bullet and apologizing is the right thing to do, where it's like, you know what? I think I'm right. I still think I'm right. But your happiness is worth more than my ego. And you know what? You know, maybe I'm an antagonist for thinking that, but if OP says, "Hey, I think I'm wrong, I think I'm right, I think I'm right," or whatever, but you know what? I realize I've hurt your feelings, so you know what? I'm going to back off that. I don't want to be the antagonist. You're more good than bad in my life, so I'm going to bite the bullet and apologize. I won't do that again. Take all the mason jars you want. I personally don't, like, you know, want you to have them, but he's still going to be the good guy. So I don't like the idea that they got negative 107 votes for just quoting the whole bite the bullet situation and he gets downvoted, and also the next person getting up 197 votes. Or saying like, "Hey, you're not really apologizing," so, you know, whatever. But let's go ahead and look at the next controversial reply right here, which is, "Does she call them fancy drinks? I drink the same things she does and I've never called them fancy. Are you sure isn't a you thing?" True. And the next reply is, "Fancy has different definitions for everyone. It just sounds like an infused drink, which is fancier than water." And here's the idea. It's like, you know, not a lot of my friends would think that if I had ramen noodles with Taco Bell hot sauce, that'd be considered fancy. But honestly, if I had an egg in there, that's some fancy eating right there. No attorney in a major law firm is calling my ramen noodles with Taco Bell hot sauce and an egg is fancy. But, you know, it's very subjective. So maybe she's calling it fancy drinks, maybe she's not. But, I mean, that's not for us to judge. Now we're just like kind of splitting hairs on that situation. But, like I said, thank you for subscribing down below. Also, the idea that as my channel grows, I'm not going to try to, like, you know, bombard you guys with ads or whatever, but the only thing that I think this channel probably could sell you guys is things that I'm into, like what we were talking about the other day is Animal Crossing, and I went out and bought that. A cast iron skillet, I really like that, and went out there and bought that. So I mean, if anybody's trying to sell food, snacks, or whatever, if it's delicious and you send it to me, I'd probably be able to push that really, really well. But I mean, let's not detract from that. I'm just saying thank you for everybody that came by and watched this whole entire video. Thank you for subscribing down below and joining that Decoy group, and also owning Decoy coins and by dropping some good comments down below. Check out DecoyNoise.com for more information, and also stick around for the next episode coming up next of DecoyNoise.